This evening, first up, President Irfanali has issued a 6-week ultimatum calling on anyone who may have illegitimately obtained a driver's license to turn it in. A post-audit uncovered alarming discrepancies inside the licensing system, and the president says prosecutions are coming. Plus, a pre-dawn breaking at the Ministry of Home Affairs ends with a swift arrest. CCTV footage shows an intruder slipping through a window, ransacking offices, and fleeing with electronics. But police says the suspect didn't get far, and a major national roadway is nearing completion. The Soesdyke Linden Highway rehabilitation project is now 98% finished, with new safety features, drainage upgrades, and roundabouts on the way. We'll show you what commuters can expect next. Also, a domestic dispute turns fatal, and a special constable now faces a manslaughter charge. What police say happened inside a West Bank Demerara home, and the latest on the court proceedings. And across the region, growing anxiety in Venezuela as the U.S. military buildup intensifies in the Caribbean, and the country's airspace remains closed under President Trump's order. Those stories and more straight ahead. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for December 9th, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, earlier today, President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali announced a major crackdown on irregularities in the issuance of driver's license, giving individuals who may have illegitimately obtained a license 6 weeks to surrender it. The directive, made during the Ghana Police Force's traditional Christmas breakfast, targets anyone issued a license by the Ghana Revenue Authority without completing both the theoretical and practical driving examinations.
We can tell, and we have been able to tell because of the system, all those who wrote the theoretical exam and passed, and that is the only way you can move forward with the practical exam. And we can tell you all those who got a practical certificate, and then all those who actually got a license, a GRE. So we've been able to triangulate the entire process, and we understand the discrepancies within the whole process. Because if you have 150 people passing the theory, but 400 people getting the practical certificate, something is wrong.
President Ali revealed that a post-audit of the licensing system uncovered discrepancies, including instances where more practical certificates were issued than theoretical exam passes. The president noted that they have been able to triangulate the entire process, and in areas where there are discrepancies, have all the names of persons who received a practical paper but never passed the theoretical exams.
In the areas where there's discrepancies, and we have found it, we have all the names of persons who got a practical paper but never passed the theoretical exam. And we're going to give those persons in the public domain 6 weeks to surrender themselves and go through back the process. Or after that, we're going to publish all the names in the newspaper, suspend the license, and prosecute them.
The president also emphasized that all parties involved in the irregularities, including officials at the GRE, will face prosecution. President Ali underscored the administration's commitment to integrity, transparency, and accountability in the licensing process. In other news, before dawn broke over the city on Monday, a brazen intruder slipped into the Ministry of Home Affairs, ransacking offices and making off with electronics, only to be swiftly tracked down through clear CCTV footage. According to a police report, ranks have arrested a 48-year-old man in connection with the break and enter at the Ministry of Home Affairs breakdown office. The incident, which occurred between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., resulted in the theft of several electronic devices, including laptops, tablets, and digital cameras, as well as personal items belonging to a staff member. Investigators found sections of the building ransacked and an open washroom window on the lower flat, indicating the likely point of entry. CCTV footage captured the suspect entering through the window, moving through the building with a large black bag, and later exiting via a fire escape before scaling the eastern fence. The footage led police to the suspect, who was arrested with several stolen items in his possession. The Ministry of Home Affairs commended the swift action of the Ghana Police Force as investigations continue. As the probe continues, officer says the swift arrest sends a strong message that criminal acts will be met with decisive and immediate law enforcement actions. Moving on, the Ministry of Public Works announced Monday that milling and paving works on the Soesdyke Linden Highway are now 98% complete, marking significant progress in the US $161 million rehabilitation project. The extensive two-phase upgrade includes the resurfacing of the 73-kilometer corridor, drainage improvements, which are now 60% complete, and shoulder works, which are at 70%. Full depth reconstruction has also begun in sections requiring substructural repairs. The new roundabout at Millie's Hideout is set to begin construction within 2 weeks. The project, funded through an Islamic Development Bank loan and executed by Namilco Construction Services in partner with the Guy America Construction Incorporated. The wider upgrade will introduce new streetlights, safety features, reflective markings, lay-bys, and additional roundabouts, including at the Soesdyke Junction and the Five Corner in Linden. Once completed, the rehabilitated highway is expected to provide a safer, more durable route capable of supporting the increasing tonnage and daily traffic that rely on this vital national link. Stick around when we return. Ghanaian company secures oil block in Guyana, promises $17 million signing bonus, and special constable granted bail in boyfriend's stabbing death.
The most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
A routine domestic dispute turned deadly earlier this month, and now a young special constable is facing a manslaughter charge after her boyfriend succumbed to a stab wound inflicted during the altercation. 27-year-old Special Constable Rihanna Simpson was on Monday charged with manslaughter and released on $500,000 bail in connection with the death of her boyfriend, 42-year-old Peter Michael Rawlins. Simpson of Rich Dorsey, West Bank Demerara, appeared before Magistrate Rhonda Weaver at the Wales Magistrates Court, where the charge was read to her. She was not required to enter a plea and was ordered to report to the Lenora police station on the 15th of every month. The case was adjourned to January 13, 2026. Police reported that the incident occurred on December 3rd during an argument at the Simpsons' residence, during which Rawlins sustained a stab wound to his upper right leg. He later died at the West Demerara Regional Hospital. Simpson was subsequently arrested as investigations continue. The case will now proceed through the court, where investigators and prosecutors are expected to present further evidence as they work to determine the circumstances surrounding Rawlins' death. On a different note, Guyana has struck a major deal with Ghana's Sibel Energy Limited, which will pay the country a US $17 million signing bonus for the S7 offshore oil block, $7 million above the typical ceiling for shallow water assets. The deal was formalized today with the signing of the new petroleum exploration license between Sibel and the government of Guyana. Block S7, located about 50 kilometers from ExxonMobil's Liza 1 and Liza 2 fields, is estimated to hold around 400 million barrels of recoverable oil. Sibel Energy is notable for being both the first African-led operator and the first woman-led oil and gas company to secure a block outside Africa. At the signing, CEO Beatrice Mensah-Teyu highlighted the company's commitment to safety, environmental responsibility, and maximizing benefits for Guyana. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat described the deal as a boost to Guyana's global presence and an opportunity for the local private sector. The agreement, signed under Guyana's new fiscal regime, features a 10% royalty rate, 10% corporate tax, and a 50-50 profit-sharing split between the government and contractor. This differs from the previous agreements, which had been widely criticized. Founded in 2012, Sibel Energy has grown from a Ghanaian exploration startup into a diversified energy firm with operations in exploration, engineering, and water resource management. This deal signals growing international interest in Ghana's offshore oil sector and highlights the country's efforts to attract diverse, globally minded partners. Don't go away after the break. Puerto Rico divided over growing U.S. military presence amid Venezuela tensions, and death toll rises as renewed hostilities flare along Thai-Cambodia border.
This Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneak in with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, Trinidad and Tobago police probed the kidnapping of a businessman and his wife after a $2.5 million ransom demand. Venezuelan fear rising regional tensions. Puerto Rico becomes a focal point of the US military buildup, and Thailand and Cambodia trade blame for deadly border clashes. We begin in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago police are investigating the kidnapping of a 70-year-old businessman and his wife after a $2.5 million ransom demand and a video showing the couple under armed threat surfaced. Their Monos Island home was found ransacked. The anti-kidnapping unit is leading the high-profile probe as the authorities search for the couple and examine possible foreign involvement, including a Colombian link phone number. The United States military built up in the Caribbean and the threat of a potential conflict is triggering fears and uncertainty among the people of Venezuela. The closure of the Venezuelan airspace by President Donald Trump is also making life difficult for those needing to travel outside the country. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
An ordeal. That's how most Venezuelans living abroad describe their attempts to reach their country. Anibek Rivas says she has been traveling for 3 days after all her flights were cancelled, as the United States imposed a closure of Venezuelan airspace.
I'm Venezuelan. I'm a professional. I had to migrate to sustain my daughter so she has a future, which is what most Venezuelans have done. Now I want to go back home for a month.
The powerful military buildup in the Caribbean and the threat of escalating military action against the government of Nicolás Maduro have filled people with uncertainty about what will happen in their country.
The closure of Venezuela's airspace and the isolation it generates is the latest strategy used by the United States to pressure Nicolás Maduro. And while U.S. aircraft continue to fly close to Venezuela's coast, this continues to be one of the few ways that people have to enter or leave the country.
Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado is set to receive the Nobel Peace Prize on Wednesday in Oslo. On Sunday, she confirmed the death from a heart attack of Alfredo Diaz, a former governor who had been detained for a year on charges of terrorism and incitement. His death did not go unnoticed for the U.S. State Department, which said on X that his death is yet another reminder of the vile nature of the criminal Maduro regime. Alfredo Romero has been assisting Venezuelan political detainees for years. He says there are over 800 prisoners detained for political reasons right now.
We're seeing that many of those who've been involved with Maria Corina Machado or in the campaign last year have been detained. But they're not even political activists in many cases. They're people involved in social activities that participated in a demonstration.
For the government, those detained are traitors. On Monday, Nicolás Maduro continued to challenge the presence of U.S. military forces in the Caribbean during a live broadcast in Caracas.
The colonial times will never come back to Venezuela, and furthermore, those times will never come back to our Americas. The times when we were slaves are over.
As the ongoing rhetoric between Maduro and Trump drags on, most Venezuelans are caught in the middle, trying to go on with their lives. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Cúcuta, Colombia.
U.S. military personnel and equipment have been building up on the island of Puerto Rico. The Trump administration says it's part of efforts to fight drug trafficking in the Caribbean. Al Jazeera Julia Galliano reports.
Carolina Soto watches from the sidelines as the U.S. flexes its muscle in Puerto Rico. With tensions escalating in the Caribbean, she had hoped to spend Christmas in her native Venezuela, her first in nearly 20 years since she emigrated. And although the standoff between Washington and Caracas seems to have reached a stalemate for now, Carolina still hopes to set foot in her country soon.
I know something will definitely happen. I just hope that when it does, the people of Venezuela are safe and not many people die.
The U.S. has been steadily moving its military assets to the Caribbean in recent months, and most have come here, to Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory and a key strategic location. The Trump administration insists it's all to combat drug trafficking in the region. But there are clear implications for Puerto Rico, an island with a complex history of U.S. military presence.
It's very important to understand that Puerto Rico is a colony of the United States. It has been a colony, an occupied territory, used specifically to advance the interests of the United States. The interests of Puerto Rican has never been at the center of the political decisions taken by the United States.
But most residents here say it's not so black and white.
I feel very calm. There are people who think the US is invading us, that they shouldn't be here. But the truth is, we are American citizens.
A status that most Puerto Ricans are keen to maintain, even if they don't always agree on what terms. This island has been undergoing its worst economic crisis in history, and many people here feel that despite what happens between the U.S. and Venezuela, increased military activity could actually be beneficial, whether it is to jumpstart the economy or even provide more security. But more important in the psyche of an island that depends on federal funds from the mainland is the sense of strategic relevance.
Puerto Rico was always the crown of the jewel in terms of military geopolitical presence or strategic, localization and geographical setting, but that wasn't the case for a long time. And now people are seeing that, well, if it's against Venezuela, Puerto Rico is going to have some relevance, a lot of relevance.
While its strategic importance to the U.S. might not necessarily be a source of pride to all Puerto Ricans, it does give them an anchor in what are otherwise uncertain times on the island and in the Caribbean as a whole. Julia Galliano, Al Jazeera, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Thailand and Cambodia have traded blames for renewed clashes along their disputed border and pledged to continue the fighting as the death toll climbs in the latest outbreak of hostilities between the neighbors. Al Jazeera's Bernard Smith reports.
On the Thailand-Cambodia border, civilians again find themselves on the front line in the latest flare-up of violence between the two countries. A nearby explosion sends Thai villagers running for cover here. On the Cambodian side, refugees from the fighting take shelter at a Buddhist temple. It's not the first time they've had to do this. 5 days of fighting in July killed dozens and displaced around 300,000 people on both sides of the border.
Because of the aggressive actions by the Thai side, who opened fire first and invaded Cambodia's sovereignty, Cambodian forces have been left with no choice but to use their right of self-defense to fight against the illegal invasion.
Thai operations focus solely on military targets to degrade Cambodia or to actually reduce the ability of the Cambodian military capabilities, while Cambodia's use of weapons continues to be directed at innocent civilians, civilian sites and medical facilities.
As civilians sit out the fighting in shelters, these are in Thailand, neither government has given any indication it's willing to back down. The conflict centres on a century-old disagreement over borders mapped during French colonial times and who has sovereignty over some ancient temples. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it TV2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.